Well, good morning from beautiful morning here on the coast of New Hampshire. I just got done photographing sunrise in one of my favorite locations, and it was gorgeous. I'll share a couple of pictures now, but just a beautiful morning. So this morning, this episode is not about photography. It's about my experience talking on the TEDx stage. If you follow me at all on social media, you know that back in May, I had the chance to present on the TEDx stage. I actually began the auditioning and application process back in December. I was chosen to be one of the presenters or talkers at TEDx in May. I guess I was chosen in January. And so for 4 months, we practiced, we auditioned, we rewrote. My 5-minute talk at my audition, I thought was going to be the first 5 minutes of my talk at the TEDx event. It ended up being about 2 lines.
You remember the last time you lost your wallet? You remember the panic that washed over you when you realized that you had no money, no credit cards, and maybe worst of all, you were going to have to go to the DMV to get a new driver's license.
And so through that process, my talk turned into a really tight 10-minute talk about the power of natural moments, some of the life lessons I've learned as a photographer, and the importance of photographing from within those moments. So what I want to talk to you today about is the lessons that I learned as a result of doing the TEDx. And I have to say that I thought the TEDx event for me was going to be this nice little local event here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I knew about 1,000 people were going to be in the audience, but I didn't really know what was going to happen after that. I thought, okay, maybe we'll get some social media buzz afterwards, but it was going to be, pretty localized. Well, TEDx ended up picking up my talk. They ended up promoting it, featuring it on their page, and as of today, we're approaching 50,000 views, which is exciting because it's exciting because the sort of message about the power of moments and being out in nature and, the life lessons from those is being heard. And I hope that that message gets spread a little bit. So here are the 3 things that I learned by going through the TEDx process. And again, it was about 4 or 5 months of rehearsals and auditions and then practicing and rewriting and getting ready for that event on May 9th. So the first thing I learned was be open. As I mentioned earlier, my 5-minute audition turned into 2 lines, which meant I had about 10 minutes more to fill. But what ended up happening was my, original 18-minute talk ended up getting, shrunk down to a really tight, concise, on-the-point 10-minute message that I delivered at the TEDx event in May. That wouldn't have happened without the help of the other TEDx, the team, the writers that were on the team, the performance coaches that were on the team, some of my fellow TEDxers that we shared ideas with. We workshopped it. We, went back and forth on Google Docs. We did all sorts of stuff. And so what ended up happening was all of those folks helped me get my message to be super tight and really on point. One of the things I struggled with was how to get across the idea that, yes, there are a lot of images that are out there now, with cell phones being, so handy for everybody. How do we balance the need to have our cell phones or our cameras out to take pictures with, quote unquote, being in the moment? And so I was able to kind of put that message together. But
to be fully present in such moments, I've learned to slow down, to appreciate, and to be grateful. The win for me has been found being in that moment, not necessarily photographing it. That's become more and more difficult to do these days, as life's modern conveniences have resulted us worrying a little bit more about what's next and not necessarily about what's now. Like other commodities, the ubiquity of digital images and the ease with which we can now take them have the capacity to lower their value in the very moment that moves us to take them in the first place.
Only through the help of, again, all of those other TEDx staff members and other presenters that were there that were kind of helping this through a pretty collaborative effort. So I was open to that. I needed to be open to that because that's where their expertise lie, and having them help me do that, I think, helped me deliver a much tighter talk in the end. The second thing that I learned this fairly quickly, was I needed to be stubborn. And I know this sounds sort of antithetical to what I just said, right? Be open, but be stubborn. Well, be open to the things that you can't do well, but TED is all about big ideas. And your idea, your big idea is your big idea. It's not the team's big idea. It's not a collaborative effort's big idea. It's your big idea. So you need to be stubborn about what it is that is your big idea and what is your message that you want to get across. There were periods within the collaboration process where we started to trend towards anti-cell phone rhetoric. And I understand why, right? You go to an event, everybody's got their cell phones out, nobody, quote unquote, is paying attention. But at the same time, I didn't want this to be about a specific tool, or I didn't want it to be about tools at all. Cell phones can be great cameras, right? Many people, that's the only camera they have, and they take amazing images with it. So why be anti-cell phone or anti-tool? What I wanted to be was pro-behavior. I wanted to say, hey, yeah, get your pictures in, but shoot from within these moments. Put yourself within them, be present, and you're going to take better pictures as a result.
Thankfully, this isn't an either-or situation. We don't have to either enjoy our moments or take pictures. I believe very strongly it's a yes and. Yes, we can be within the moment, and yes, we can take wonderful pictures as a result. It does require a shift in our thinking, however, a shift away from taking a picture of something to taking a picture from within something.
And so I needed at some point to say, no. This is not the direction I want to go. I am not anti-cell phone, I am not anti-tool, I am pro-behavior, and that's where I needed to be stubborn. So I was open to having people help me tease that message out, but I was not open to people changing my big idea. And that is an important sort of dichotomy there that you have to balance a little bit. But at the same time, your big idea is your big idea is your big idea, and you can't forget that, right? So be stubborn when it comes to your big idea. And then the final thing that I learned was to be confident. As I stood on that stage, and there were, like I said, about 1,000 people in the room, I had to remember that nobody knew my message better than I did. Nobody had worked on my message as hard as I had. Nobody could deliver my message better than I could. Now, the reason I felt confidence was because I had rehearsed it 50 or 60 times the week prior in getting ready for that talk. And you know what I learned? I never gave the same exact same speech twice, right? It was the same overall message. But every time I gave my talk in rehearsals, there was language that changed here or there, or I might slip over a word here or there. But as long as I continued to confidently deliver that message, I knew the audience was going to pull through and come through with me. So I learned really quickly in the rehearsal process and as I got ready to go on stage that my confidence was going to help promote my big idea. And the only way I could build that confidence was by practicing over and over and over again, knowing that no two speeches are going to be exactly the same, no two rehearsals are going to be exactly the same, but my message, my big idea was going to become clearer and tighter every time I practice it. And so by practicing, my confidence grew, and I knew when I stood on that stage that I could confidently deliver and confidently pull the audience through my talk and deliver the message that I wanted to deliver.
This image still remains as the backdrop of my iPhone. It serves as a reminder for me to slow down, seek out, and live within the everyday moments that have the capacity to change your life. I do that through the lens of my camera. And today, I invite you all to find your own lens to do the same. Thank you.
So those are the big three, right? Be open to ideas and support. Be stubborn about what your big idea is. And then be confident that you're the only person that could deliver that big idea the way that you want to deliver it. And stand up on that stage and deliver it confidently. Now, if you're interested in doing a TEDx, I have to tell you, I think you ought to audition immediately or as soon as you can. If you've been on the fence with it, try out for it. And you might not make it past auditions, you might not make it, to the event itself, but the audition process by itself is helpful. And the idea of just putting yourself out there is helpful. And maybe that means, you're a year away from presenting, whatever the case might be. But I have to tell you, the process itself was incredibly valuable for me. It was something I had never done before. I delivered a lot of speeches before. I've stood in front of large groups, but I've always had notes and a podium and a PowerPoint. this was me performing my talk, and this was all brand new for me. And so it pushed me to really develop that skill set. And so I would kind of say to anybody, if you're interested in doing it, if you even have an inkling of doing it, I think you should pursue it because it's worth doing. And the whole TEDx process itself is super supportive, and TEDx wants you to succeed, and so they're going to do their best to help you succeed on that stage in the long run. So if you're thinking about doing it, I would say go for it. All right, so that's it from the beautiful coast of New Hampshire. Hope this is helpful for you, if not at least interesting. I will post not only my talk below, but also I will post my Substack where I wrote about a couple of reflections around that talk as well. You can go take a look at those if you're interested. All right, that's it from me. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.